Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the April 27th, 1985 edition of Mid South Wrestling Review Series. We open with a highlight package, and everybody knows how much I just love those, of a Terry Taylor and Kamala match. They've kind of been building that for a while now. And without a doubt, this is a certain, advantage for Kamala. They have wrestled before, however, not in a while. Obviously, Taylor has been your Mid South North American champion, the biggest championship in the area at the time, and without a doubt, that is a big deal. We have, in case you are curious, over 150 of these Mid South reviews, over 320 in world class. 100 and some in the Superstars of Wrestling series. We're going to have the largest audio archive of old school wrestling available in audio format, review style. And so that is the goal here. You can join us for the journey. Please subscribe, like, and all that good stuff. Anyway, Kamala with some splashes, trying to get as much as he can out of as little as possible. Kamala always been good at maximizing his potentials here, and this particular match and this particular feud with Terry Taylor, which seems to be stopping and going, which is a Bill Watts hallmark to some degree, I think. They kind of stop and go of the feuds and the like. Kind of an interesting run there, and that's an interesting deal. Anyway, stays on it, and a bit of a crossbody there by Taylor. Kamala with the splash misses after a body slam, um, and some bear hugs. Meanwhile, sent to the outside. The referee gets knocked down, and Kamala takes over on Terry Taylor again, able to use the top rope, attempted anyway, as the as the referee is down. Jim Duggan, though, breaks a board over the back, or nails Kamala over the back with a board. Referee gets nailed, other people get nailed. Duggan in trouble for that, obviously. Skandor Akbar basically says he wants Duggan eliminated for his issues with the board and all of the violence related to the board. He wants him suspended, he wants him eliminated, he wants to put an end to him. And then we go to Tom Pritchard and Hacksaw Duggan. Duggan is incensed still, as we've seen there. Um, Duggan willing to use weaponry. Meanwhile, I believe we've got distractions on the outside there. Duggan with a hip toss on Pritchard, tries to get all he can out of it, kind of rolls around with him a little bit. In a collar elbow tie up type scenario, Duggan manages to send Pritchard into the top rope and ultimately body slams his man. He actually hits a shoulder breaker instead, and goes down into the 3 point stance. Pritchard, though, runs away. Pritchard basically says he's going to pick his spots. Takes the count out loss. Says he's going to pick his spots. Says that he is in the television championship tournament and he's willing to save some of his energy for that. That's very clear there. Then we go to Kamala and Thor. Thor, of course, nails. So interesting to think about years later, a nails versus Kamala type of match. Tom Pritchard beginning to show some personality here. Hadn't really been allowed to do that in this particular venue before. Needless to say, we kind of get Kamala and Thor as a reasonably, challenging contest. Thor looks to be $1 million again, probably in the best shape of his career, trained in the AWA area, and without a doubt, Akbar happy with having Kamala in his stable. Kamala is not phased by the attempted tackle of Thor. Hard shots by Kamala behind the the knee and behind the leg, and then we see a big chop by Kamala. Kamala sending the man into the buckle, gets some body slams and a choke or two around and about, and ultimately um, we see some shots there, and Kamala with an Irish whip and hits a double chop to the throat and gets the body splash. Hard to pull him off. Then we go to Jake Roberts and the Barbarian versus Dye and Brown. Um, Barbarian and Jake Roberts, a formidable team in any area. Uh, Dye and Brown, not exactly challenging here. This is not Slick Wagner Brown. This is not Brickhouse Brown. This is another Mr. Brown. Brown seems to be a common name in the wrestling business. Anyway, hard shots by Roberts right under the chin. Takes his man down and then goes for a body slam, release style. Um, Roberts kind of holds on to the arm, tries to get everything he can out of the arm. Tag off to the Barbarian while he's standing on the throat of his adversary. Roberts not above, getting a choke out where he can. Clothesline by the Barbarian. Barbarian allows the tag to the other adversary. No big deal. Barbarian almost with a power slam like maneuver, but instead throws him into a hot shot style deal there. Tag off to Roberts. Roberts manages a few shots, kicks right under the chin, and then we see a big clothesline by the Barbarian. Barbarian not willing to take a backward step, instead focusing on the forward motion of the full Nelson, gets a victory there. The wrestler against Brickhouse Brown. We mentioned Brickhouse a moment ago, and he is, in fact, here. The wrestler who looks an awful lot like a bloated Jim Neidhart, but maybe that's not where we go. Also, we kind of get back to a more, I guess you'd say, rebuilder's week here. Brickhouse Brown out with the boombox, out with the big deal, the strutting and the, I wouldn't say breakdancing quite yet, but certainly a baby face there, and manages to stay one. The wrestler is not much of a challenge for Brickhouse. Brickhouse uses his speed, uses some shoulder tackles, and then we see an attempted body slam, go behind and leapfrog by Brickhouse. Brickhouse with a big body slam of his own once again, leg drop, and then we see attempted go behinds tackled by Brickhouse. Brickhouse manages to get a couple of shots, takeovers by the wrestler. Wrestler with the hip toss doesn't get all he wants on that either, and a big, continuation there. Irish whip and attempts the sunset flip takeover. Gets it just barely. Instead, the wrestler manages to punch him in the jaw. Thinks about going into the second rope. Does the wrestler? Doesn't stay there very long. Brawl, third body slam or so, and then a cross-body clothesline combination by Brickhouse Brown leads him to the victory for himself here. Eddie Gilbert joins the commentary team as the Nightmare has a singles match with Private Terry Daniels. Daniels has been a good baby face in the same vein as almost a Tim Horner up to this point. The Nightmare does use power, brute force type tactics, forearms and the like, but also gets the man down and tries to kind of choke him out with an inverted chin lock. Uh, Daniels comes off the ropes, tries to tackle the man, doesn't get what he wants, sends the man to the outside. Hard shots uh, by the Nightmare. Nightmare kicking and punching, doing everything he can. You see Eddie Gilbert doing a lot of putting over the man to give himself credit. Big stun gun type maneuver across the middle rope. Then we see some kicks from the Nightmare, and he's kind of choking his man out there. Right across the bottom rope. Pile driver by the Nightmare gets him a victory. Not a big surprise off a pile driver. Anyway, Jack Victory up next against superstar Bill Dundee in the, I guess, semi-main event position, even though that's not the position it holds in terms of importance. Anyway, Dundee was there for a little while, had booked for a little while, leaves, go behind in a very basic takedown by Dundee there, and ultimately Dundee drives his knee into the arm of his adversary. Um, Monkey flip out of the corner by Dundee. Dundee, with several arm drags, tries to keep things going in his direction and does for the next several minutes there. Um, and, Dundee tries to make his way back to his feet and does. Victory does the same, drives the shoulders into the midsection of Dundee. He does not have enough to defeat the man, however. Back elbows by Dundee are going in his direction. And Dundee uses kind of a chokeout, kind of a sleeper maneuver in I guess, getting of the victory. And with about 7 minutes or so left in the program, Edgar Boo Thomas faces off against Terry Taylor. Biggest match of his career by far. Taylor still your North American champion. Taylor is a pretty big guy. Then we kind of see Taylor with some hip tosses and a body slam, or actually turned it into a backbreaker. What's interesting is Dr. Death Steve Williams is not out there with Thomas this week, which is a little bizarre. Maybe they've abandoned the storyline. Maybe he missed TV. Maybe they're going in another direction with the story, so we'll have to wait and see. I've completed watching up until this episode, so more watching for me sometime later today or tomorrow to continue to bring you this series. Anyway, Taylor with several arm bars and the like stays right on the arm for a good bit of time. Very basic hold based match. Hard shots by Taylor. Taylor manages to get some short knees into the midsection by Thomas. Thomas drives the shoulder, does not seem intimidated by being in there with the North American champion. Taylor catches him right between the eyes and again lights him up. Short knee lift by Taylor. Taylor has been a major force using the sit-out figure 4, getting Taylor the victory there. And then we go to the final segment of the month of April, which is the music video of the returning Ted DiBiase. We'll be back with more right after this.